Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to TSJ 101 Sports. Today we're going to be talking about WWE Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view that's coming up this Sunday. We're also going to touch a little bit on the Dean Ambrose heel turn on Monday Night Raw, along with the Roman Reigns news, because, that's just really big in general. If you're finding us for the first time, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on this video, and you can follow us on Twitter. So, real quickly, let's just touch on what happened on Monday Night Raw. If you didn't see, basically what happened was Roman Reigns, he came to the ring. He even told everyone his real name because the news was pretty serious. He revealed he had leukemia and he has cancer, so he's going to have to, go away for a little bit while he deals with that. So, the Universal Championship is now without a title holder. But that will all take place at Crown Jewel, which we'll do another video for. Apparently, that event is still going on. But the main event on Monday Night Raw saw Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who actually dedicated their match to Roman Reigns. They took on Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. The Shield, which is Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, they won the match. And then Dean Ambrose immediately turned on Seth Rollins and really just beat the crap out of him to, I think, everybody's surprise. So the question that everybody has is, why would WWE do this on such an emotional night after Roman Reigns made his announcement? And it's really quite simple, really. It's the fact that this actually made Dean Ambrose a heel that everyone genuinely hates right now. Everyone had been waiting for Dean Ambrose to turn heel since he arrived back in the WWE, and so whenever WWE was planning on turning Dean Ambrose heel, which I don't think was going to be until 2019 at the earliest, everyone pretty much would have seen it coming by then. Not only that, you would have a lot of people still cheering for Dean Ambrose, even though you want him to be a villain. Think of Becky Lynch on SmackDown Live. WWE, they didn't really go about that the right way, and now you have a villain being cheered by the fans. And so I think WWE just really wanted to avoid that when they wanted to turn Dean Ambrose heel. So you turn him heel on a night that is very emotional for everybody, and you succeeded in turning Dean Ambrose into a full-fledged villain. And this was done really out of necessity because Roman Reigns, he is a pretty big factor on that Monday Night Raw roster. So you take Roman Reigns off of that roster, and it really thins out. Even though it's just one superstar, it really takes a hit to the roster overall. And so you have Seth Rollins as a babyface, you just turned Elias face. It only makes sense that you needed a top heel, and so WWE, they elected to go with Dean Ambrose earlier rather than wait till way later in the calendar year. Another reason WWE did this and actually had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose win the tag team titles is mainly because they wanted the surprise to be real and organic. I think that if Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, if they had won that match on Monday Night Raw and retained their tag team championship, a lot of people would have suspected Dean Ambrose could turn heel on Seth Rollins, and so WWE just wanted Ambrose and Rollins to win the match that way. It was a genuine surprise up until the moment Dean actually turned on Seth Rollins. So that's pretty much why they won the tag team match, and then why WWE elected to turn Dean Ambrose heel. Moving on now, though, because this is really about WWE Evolution. That's pretty much what this video is for, so we're going to just get into that now. We have a total of 7 matches, and a lot of the matches on this card have been moved around a little bit due to injuries. I know Alexa Bliss, she's dealing with an injury. We're going to have to see and wait if Alicia Fox will replace her in her tag team match. She's going to partner up with Mickie James, taking on Trish Stratus and Lita. It was originally scheduled for Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus, but you want to try to get as many women into the card as possible. And again, Alexa's dealing with a possible injury, so we're just going to have to sit and wait to find out what Bliss's status is on Sunday. We also have a women's battle royal, which I'm not exactly too sure who's in it. I know that there's been a lot of confirmed superstars such as Naomi, Lana, Asuka, Ember Moon, Peyton Royce, Tamina, but then you have some legends that are coming back, such as Molly Holly, Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, Alundra Blaze, Ivory. So it's really going to be a really fun battle royal, despite the fact that there are no stakes involved. Like, I think a lot of people wanted the winner of the battle royal to get like a women's championship match, and that's just not the case. And so, despite the fact there is no big prize, it should be a lot of fun with the names that are in this battle royal. Looking at the card, you have a 6-woman tag team match. You have the Riot Squad. They'll be taking on Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya. That should be a good match overall. I think a lot of people are high on the Riot Squad, and Sasha Banks is returning, so she should get a nice pop, if for anything, that we really haven't seen her in quite some time, so it's just nice to see her back in the ring and fighting. We also have the Mae Young Classic Tournament final. That's going to be between Io Shirai and, I believe, Toni Storm. I haven't watched that match, but I'm pretty sure she did win. If you haven't seen any of the Mae Young Classic, it's actually been really, really good. There was some bad injury in one of the matches. We won't go into spoiler alerts in case you haven't seen it. But I highly suggest you watch the Mae Young Classic before you watch Evolution, especially for before this match, because it really is going to be a great match. And if you've been watching the Mae Young Classic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We also have the NXT Women's Championship. That's going to be Kairi Sane, who actually surprisingly won the NXT Women's Championship during the last NXT TakeOver event. She's going to be taking on Shayna Baszler. And I don't know what WWE's plans are right now. It wouldn't be a surprise if Kairi Sane actually won this match and then they moved Baszler up to the main roster, because in the short amount of time Shayna Baszler has been in NXT and the NXT Women's Champion, she's actually done very, very well. And so her being called up to the main roster, it wouldn't be a huge surprise. I think that the roadblock for Baszler, if you will, is that it's just a weird time in the calendar year. Maybe they could call her up after Survivor Series, but it's very rare WWE just picks a random Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live to call up their NXT talent. Usually that's something that they do after a big pay-per-view such as Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania, even SummerSlam for that matter. So I don't expect Baszler to get called up anytime soon. Again, if Sane does win this match, she might get called up after Survivor Series, but it does seem like Baszler might become a two-time NXT Women's Champion. Then we have the two big matches, the WWE Raw Women's Championship. It's going to be Ronda Rousey defending her title against Nikki Bella. This is actually probably even better than the Becky Lynch-Charlotte Flair storyline for multiple reasons. You have Ronda Rousey, who is actually a legit women's athlete, because she won the UFC World Championship in MMA. She's going to be taking on the queen of all divas in the WWE, Nikki Bella. This match really is sort of a passing of the torch from the Divas era to this new women's competitors era that we are living in with Ronda Rousey. You have the queen of the new era, Ronda Rousey, versus the top diva in the Divas era, and that's Nikki Bella. So it only makes sense that these two would fight for the crown at the historic pay-per-view that is WWE Evolution. Definitely expect Brie Bella to get involved. I think we will see some sort of twin magic between the two. Don't be surprised if Nikki Bella actually does win this match for multiple reasons. One being that Vince, he just loves to troll the WWE audience. I think that Vince does appreciate some of the stuff that the Divas era did do, and so he might want to let Nikki win on Sunday night, and that way it's kind of like a tip of the cap to the Divas era before they take the belt off Nikki completely, and she's done going after Ronda Rousey. But Ronda Rousey is also being built up as an unbeatable hero within the WWE, which I know WWE has been shying away from lately, unless your name is Roman Reigns. So again, don't be surprised if Nikki Bella does actually win this match, but the safe bet is Ronda Rousey without a doubt. But Nikki Bella absolutely has a better chance of winning than I think most people are giving her credit for. And then, of course, the big match that everyone's looking forward to is Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. I'm not too sure that this is going to be the main event. It's for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, and it's a last woman standing match. But again, the Ronda Rousey-Nikki Bella match, that ultimately might end up being the pay-per-view's main event, just because of the name on the card. I don't know who's going to win this match, quite frankly. You would assume Becky Lynch is going to win this match, whether she dumps a table on top of Charlotte or pins her with, some heavy, immovable object. I think that's really the only way Becky Lynch wins this match. It's hard to see her actually knock out Charlotte Flair for a 10 count. Either way you look at it, this should be the last match between these two. Can't really see this story going any further than a last woman standing match. Usually in WWE's history, the last man standing match, or in this case, a last woman standing match, is usually the climax of a rivalry and story. So it's kind of hard to go higher than a last man standing match. So that's typically why you see it as the closing chapter of a story or rivalry. So I expect Becky Lynch to win this match, and then this rivalry between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to come to an end, and then we'll kind of see what goes from there. If Charlotte Flair were to win this match, then this rivalry would just keep on going, and I'm not too sure WWE wants to go down that route. I think they want to experiment a little bit more with the women's division on SmackDown Live. Again, this event, WWE Evolution, it will take place out of Uniondale, New York. That's on Long Island. It's where the Islanders play. They play at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and so that's where the event's going to be held. As of right now, WWE Crown Jewel is still a go for Saudi Arabia. If you haven't been keeping up with the news, basically a Saudi reporter that was an American resident, he was out in Saudi Arabia. He was actually kidnapped and murdered and it's believed that the Saudi government had something to do with it. So WWE right now, they're just kind of in a bind on what to do. If they pull out of the event, they're going to lose $16 million, and so they're just kind of waiting and seeing what options are available. Basically, WWE's lawyers are on the clock working overtime, probably working 24-hour shifts at this point to try to figure out how WWE can get out of Saudi Arabia without losing a ton of money. But as of right now, WWE does plan on doing the event. Again, be sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Facebook, and you can also follow us on YouTube. That way you don't miss any of our content. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.